how to wash our hands. Axillaire deca, axillaire deca. Now we're going to be singing some songs, watching videos and doing some fun activities. Before we start, I just want to say a webinar. It was a good start. There we are. Okay, perfect. So thank you to everyone who answered the question before this session, which was, how well do you think your child understands the need to wash their hands? So we had a really interesting response there, quite mixed, which is sort of what we'd expect really, with particularly where you've got younger children. So 44% said you felt very well, which is great, but hopefully you're going to be able to pick up some really good tips and tricks as we go along today. 41% said fairly well, so again, hopefully you're going to be able to pick up some ideas, some great ideas, and then 15% said not very well at all, so I'm hoping also you're going to get some really good ideas from here as well. So we've got some practical activities, and I'll be coming to those in a minute. So in terms of the aim of today, what I'm trying to do is hopefully by the end of this session, you're going to feel better equipped to help your child understand why it's so important to wash their hands, and then to put into practice ideas to help with this. As I say, we've got all sorts of things. We've got some songs and videos and some really good activities to do as well. Now, for our children to get into sort of washing their hands without too many confrontations and too many problems, there's sort of three things really that they need to know. And it sounds obvious, but these things do need to be taught, which is when to wash their hands, why to wash their hands, and how to wash their hands. Now, we as adults know that when we should wash our hands, we know that it makes sense to us to wash our hands before we eat, after using the bathroom, and when we've been outside. But we can't assume that young children would know all this. It is something, as I say, that needs to be taught. Now, one of the things that I find quite helpful is for children to have visual prompts around the house to remind them when they need to wash their hands. So I've put together a poster, and this poster is actually available for you to download at the end of the session as well. So obviously the poster, don't forget to wash your hands, but it just reminds you of the three main points when to wash your hands. So before you eat, after using the toilet, and after play. So those kind of visual prompts, so they can see exactly when they need to be doing it, will also help you not have to keep reminding them as well, hopefully. So when they see the posters around, and if you put them in the right places when they come back through the front door or on the bathroom door, something like that, they'll find that really helpful in terms of visual prompts. Now, children are also far more likely to wash their hands if they can understand why they need to wash their hands. And the difficulty we have here is with germs, because we can't see germs and we can't hear germs, and normally we can't smell germs either. So it can be really difficult for children to say, well, if my hands aren't dirty, why, you know, and they look clean, why do I need to wash them? If you look at my hands, can you see my hands? Yeah. Can you see any dirt on them? No, they're pretty clean. They look pretty clean to me. And that's the problem, isn't it? You see, I think my hands look really clean. Obviously, I've washed them this morning before I've started this session, but there may still be some germs on there and we can't see them. And if I didn't wash my hands, then it could make me feel a little poorly. I might catch a cold, I might get a little bit of tummy ache, and I might feel a little bit unwell because I haven't washed all those germs away. So what I want to do this morning is we're going to do our first activity, if you're ready. Now, on the session when you signed up, it would have said to you there are a few things if you want to join in with this activity that you'll need. And hopefully you can see what I have here. So we have a paper plate. There we go. We have some glitter, little bits of glitter. If your child isn't keen on getting glitter on their hands, you can cut out a paper hand like I've done here, and also we'll need a little bit of a glue stick as well. So this activity is called glitter germs. So that's what we're going to need. So if you've got that ready, that's fantastic. If you haven't, don't worry. The activity is on the handout as well. But I'm going to do the activity now, and hopefully you can pretend if you go along, if you haven't got all this with you. So the first thing we're going to do, hopefully you can see, I'm just going to adjust the camera and make sure you can actually see that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some glitter. Now, the first thing to say about this, mums and dads, if you're watching, is a little bit of glitter goes a very long way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle some glitter on here. So I'm going to have a little bit of blue glitter. There we go. And we'll have a little bit of purple glitter. It's one of my favourite colours. So, well, a little bit of blue. A little bit of purple. There we go. You really don't need any more than that. So if you're sprinkling your glitter on, be very careful. Okay. There we go. Now, if your child, as I say, isn't keen on getting glitter all over their hands, and I know for some children that can be, you know, quite stressful, this is the point at which we get our paper hand. If you've cut around the hand, around the paper, okay, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue, a little bit of the glue stick on the paper. There we go, like so. So we've got a nice sticky hand now. Okay, now then, if you're using your own hand, then obviously you can put your hand in the glitter, or if you're using the paper hand, then you can put the paper hand in the glitter plate. Now, the purpose of this is we are going to do a pretend game, and we're going to pretend that all that glitter is actually germs. Okay, now they're not. The glitter is just glitter, it's not germs, but we're going to pretend that it is, and that will help us see all the germs. So if I were to put my paper hand in there, can you see that? That's glitter. You can see how well you can see that glitter on the paper hand, but there's lots of there. So I'm going to be very brave, and I am going to put my hand onto the glitter. So here goes. Let's get some germs. Let's get some glitter germs on my hand. Oh my goodness. Right, I'm sure you can see that. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Right, so I already have lots of glitter. Oh, wow, there we go, on my hand. So imagine if those were germs. So those are the germs that we can't see. There they are. And I've got a little itch on my nose. So I'm just going to, oh dear, I think I've just got some glitter on my nose. Oh, right, there we go. That happens, unfortunately. We have little itches and we might touch our shirt. Oh, no, I've got some on there now. Oh, it's sprinkled all over me. That is how germs spread, of course. Look at all that glitter, my goodness me. So as I say, today we're pretending that the glitter is actually the germs. So we need to get rid of all these germs, because my concern is it's going to keep spreading all over me. All this glitter, I'm going to be covered by the end of the session. Are you covered? Have you got glitter all over your hands as well? Do you want to show me? Do you want to show me your hands? Oh my goodness. So we have lots of glitter germs all over Abu Dhabi at the moment, don't we? So we need to get that off in a minute. So as I say, as I'm talking, you can see how the glitter and how the germs have spread. And that's what happens with germs. We can't see it or smell it or hear them, but they do tend to, oh, there goes a little bit more onto my shirt. Okay, now I think it's probably time we look to see if we can get rid of these germs. Yeah, what do you think? Okay, so okay, let's have a look. So I'm going to just move my plate over here for a moment. There we go. And what I have here is a bowl of warm water. That's very handy, isn't it? So I hope you've got some water handy. If you haven't, you can go and perhaps do this in a minute, but hopefully you've got some warm water handy. Now then, what I'm hoping is, when I put my hand in this water, I'm hoping all these glitter germs, can you see them all? There we are. Look at all those, my goodness me. I'm hoping that all of those will wash off. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a look. I'm going to put my hand in the water. Right, well, can you see this? How well you can see that. Some of the germs have come off, the glitter germs, but let's have a look. Should we see how much that water has got our germs off? Well, it's got quite a bit, hasn't it? I'll just get my thing just run down there, but can you see there's still germs there? So the water alone has actually got quite a bit of my germs off, hasn't it? But there's still some glitter there. Now then, what do you think we're going to need to get all these glitter germs off? What do you think? Should we try some soap? Because I think that's probably going to be the best thing to get all this glitter off me, isn't it? Okay, now then, before we try some soap, I want to, we need to be able to wash our hands really well. And in order to do that, I've got a really good song that I want to sing with you, but we need to have a little practice first. So I'm going to bring up my screen again, and hopefully you will be able to have, there we go, marvelous. So hopefully you can see that screen. So I'd like us just to practice this song before we wash our hands together. Okay, so we're going to sing it through once, and then once we're happy that we know the song, then we are going to have a go at putting some soap on and washing our hands. We're going to see if we can get all this glitter off our hands, or certainly off my hands anyway. So this song doesn't last very long, it's a very short song, but it's to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So hopefully you'll know that tune, but if I sing it through once, and then let's give it a go. So, wash, wash, wash your hands, wash them nice and clean, scrub them here and scrub them there and scrub them in between. Wash, wash, wash your hands, play our handy game. Rub and scrub and scrub and rub, and germs go down the drain. Now, hopefully, you've got that song. Shall we give it a go? So what we're going to do is we are going to put some soap on our hands. So here's my soap. Here we go. I'm going to put some soap on my hands. I'm going to put them in, get that on there, and I'm going to do some washing of our hands. So should we wash our hands together? There's my soap on my hands, and here we go. Wash, wash, wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Scrub them here and scrub them there and scrub them in between. Oh, it's coming off. Let's do a little bit more. Wash, wash, wash your hands, play our handy game. Rub and scrub and scrub and rub, germs go down the drain. Well done for singing that along. So I'm just going to dry my hands, and let's see if that magic soap has done something. Shall we have a look? Ooh. Hang on, that's my glitter. There we go. Shall we have a look and see? Can you see my hands? Oh my goodness me. How clean are those? Wow. Look at that. They're really clean, aren't they? Goodness. Okay. So we know that that magic soap has done amazing things and got all the glitter from our hands. So soap has a really important part to play. My hands are really clean. Now, I do still have probably little bits of glitter on me here, but later on I'll be able to wash my face and just wipe off the little bit off my clothes as well to make sure I'm glitter free and germ free. So well done for singing along to the song as well. So the next thing I want to talk about, mums and dads particularly, is about how helpful it is to have visual prompts to remind your child the order in which they need to wash their hands. So let's have a look at this poster that I've put up. So this just literally goes through step by step what we need to do. Turning the water on, wetting our hands, soap onto the hands, rubbing them, rinsing the soap off, turning the water off, and then, just as I did here, drying our hands. So any kind of visual prompts, so I've got some visual prompts on the handouts as well that you can print off and you can put on or near the sink, so as close to the sink as possible, and that will help your child to remember the order in which they need to wash their hands. So young children particularly might need a little bit more physical help when first learning, and it's fine to stand behind them and guide them through each stage and make sure they can reach the sink. That's another thing that's sometimes overlooked. You can see them stretching up trying to reach a sink, so a little step stool, something like that, is really handy for them, so they're in a comfortable position to be able to wash their hands. So you can use physical prompts, which are things like guiding their hands and saying, right, now we need to use the soap, and you can literally guide their hands over to the soap. You can have verbal prompts, as I've just said, things like, right, I think now's the time to, let's rinse our hands, and again guide them under to where the tap is. And also then visual prompts just like these in terms of the steps of how to wash our hands. Now then, every time my own son washed his hands, he would get a sticker for his chart. So he had a very special hand washing reward chart. Now, reward charts are really popular with young children, and if you have siblings, if you have slightly older children as well, they can help each other out by reminding them that they have this reward chart and reminding them to wash their hands. Now, it's up to you how you reward your child when they finish their sticker chart. Let's just see if this one comes up. There we go. So this is the one that I've just adapted, which my son had. So this is great. So you've got the days of the week. Here we've got lots of pictures. Can you see all the pictures of baby shark there? And we've even got another rhyme as well to go underneath. So it's lots of different rhymes we can use when we're washing our hands. So this one says, run the water from the tap, use foamy soap and give your hands a pat. Rinse with water, nearly done. Dry your hands, ready for fun. So that's one I made up for my own son, and it worked really well. So as I say, it's up to you how you decide to reward your child for filling all that hand washing chart with stars. You could do something as simple as a favourite meal for them, or you could even take them on a day out. It's really up to you what you do. So that chart is available also for you to download, and you can personalise that as well. So it's entirely up to you. You can put your child's name on it and change the pictures as well. So the recommendation is to wash your hands for 20 seconds. Now, to help your child with this, you could set a timer, or you could do what we just did. So that song we sang, Wash, Wash, Wash Your Hands, lasts around about 20 seconds. So we've looked at when to wash our hands, and we've looked at why to wash our hands, and we've had a little go at learning how to wash them. So I want to look in a little bit more detail about how to wash our hands again. And this time I'm going to show you 2 videos. Now the first one has young children washing their hands and singing the song Top and Bottoms, and it's great fun, and they're all quite young, but they're doing really well, and they sing a lovely song. So we're going to show you that video now, which is video 1. Fantastic. Wasn't that great? They were so good. And that was just a little song called Top and Bottoms. And it was very short, but it was just long enough for them to wash their hands. And I thought they were all doing absolutely brilliant washing their hands. And I really enjoy watching that video. Now then, the next video I'm going to show you, I think you're going to really like, if you like Baby Shark. So we're going to show that in just a minute. Now in this one, Baby Shark is going to help us to wash our hands using a really fun 20-second song. Now I want you to look out for two things in this video. I want you to look out for a timer that should be just up in the corner as it runs down. So you'll see the timer running down for 20 seconds. And as well as Baby Shark and Mummy Shark, all the sharks running along, you'll see some pictures coming up which are showing you all the different stages of how to wash your hands. So if you'd like to go along with that, and I'm going to do the same when we watch it, we're going to watch the Baby Shark video and we're going to have a go at washing our hands or pretending to wash our hands with Baby Shark. So let's watch video number 2.
Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark.
Daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark.
Grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark. It's the end, do 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 do, it's the end, do 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 do, it's the end, do 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 do, it's the end.
Wow, I know that was really quick, wasn't it? I'm wondering whether we could play it again, actually. Now, I haven't asked the people to help me with that, but I'm just wondering whether we're able to show video 2 again, because it was really, really quick, wasn't it? And we can sing along, we can do a little dance to it and pretend we're washing our hands. Should we play that one again and watch it? Okay.
Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark.
Daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark.
Grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark. It's the end, do 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 do, it's the end, do 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 do, it's the end, do 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 do, it's the end.
Wow, that was super, super quick, wasn't it? My goodness me. So I hope you really enjoyed watching that, and it shows you how easy it is to, and how quickly it is that 20 seconds actually passes. So I'm just going to come up and share my screen again, because I've got another slide to show you in just a second. There we go. Okay, so I've got some top tips for you as well that I just want to cover briefly. So I've got 3 top tips really for washing hands. The first one is to be patient, because it can take time for your child to learn the sort of why and when and how they should wash their hands, particularly when they're a little bit younger. So give them lots of encouragement. And if you've got older siblings, if they've got older brothers and sisters, encourage them as well to help the younger ones get involved and actually, you know, washing their hands and having lots of fun washing their hands. The second top tip is to make sure that you use reminders and prompts. Be sure to have lots of visual reminders around the home. Apart from anything else, it saves you feeling like you're nagging them all the time to do this and do that. And it acts as a lovely reminder for them without you having to constantly remind them too. Now, verbal prompts are really important, and if you've got older children, can help with this as well. Be sure to model what you're doing. So for example, you could say, right, well, I've been outside. I need to go and wash my hands now because it's nearly time for tea. Do you want to come with me? And hopefully they'll come with you. But again, you're modeling, leave the door open, let you show them how you're washing their hands, and encourage older siblings to do the same as well. And then, as I say, you can also use physical prompts to guide your child's hands and their arms and give them help if they need it. And of course, lastly, make it fun. So there's play games, you can sing songs to help your child understand both how they should wash their hands and for how long. And in the handouts that you're going to have at the end of this session, there are lots of links to some really good songs that you can sing with your child, and I'm sure there's going to be at least one or two on there that they're going to enjoy, not least Baby Shark, which is probably my favourite. Something I also want to mention is about role play. Now, you may or may not have a little dolly. I've got a little dolly here. Now, if your child does have figurines of some kind, it might be little dolls like this, or you know, and so on. So they can be really, really helpful to help in terms of hand washing role play. Now, what we do is we look at using the doll to help your child learn how to wash their hands, but not just that, it's also about helping them take responsibility as well, and that's really important. So one of the things you could do is, if Dolly goes outside with your child to play, then when they come indoors, you could ask the question and say, you've both come indoors. What does Dolly need to do now? And hopefully the answer, of course, is Dolly needs to wash their hands. But your child may need reminding that, and that's fine. You may need to give them a little prompt. But you can also support them in washing Dolly's hands by giving them the instructions and the visual prompts from this webinar. Now, you could extend this into role play by being the voice of Dolly. So supposing, for example, you could try a different scenario where you come in and Dolly says, I don't feel like washing my hands today. And if Dolly says that, I wonder how your child is going to respond, and it will help you see how they're learning. Now, hopefully over time you'll say, come on Dolly, you know you need to wash your hands when you've been outside. So, you know, Dolly can be a really useful tool as well to help in terms of teaching your child about responsibility for actually washing their hands as well. And as I say, it's great, it's a great idea to use that if you have that as well. The other thing is, I know that children like to play online games, and you may not have heard of this one, and this is great fun, which is called Germ Zapper. So there's a link to this on the handouts as well. Now, this is created by WaterAid. It's a free online game, and it helps your child. They've got to find all the germs. It's quite tricky. I had a bit of trouble trying to find them too. Germs hide in all sorts of places in our home. Then they've got to zap the germs, and you have to be super, super quick to be able to zap the germs. And then, of course, they have to be able to wash their hands, and all that is done in a free online game. So I've got the link in the handout for you as well. And it's great fun to encourage your child to learn all about finding germs and zapping germs and where germs can appear. And as I say, we said right at the very beginning, not all germs, I'm afraid. You can't hear them and you can't see them and you can't smell them usually. So that's a great game as well if your child likes that. So I have got one very special activity left to show you. So I'm just going to move a couple of bits around here. This is a very special one. So let's have a look. And it involves, now you may not have all these items with you at the moment. Hopefully, here we go. I'm just going to pop that down a little bit so you can see. But that's fine because all the details are going to be on the handout that you have, including this activity. So what you need for this, so we're going to try something, and I hope it works. I'm going to try something called magic milk. Now then, what we need for magic milk is we need a bowl like this, just an empty bowl. We need some liquid soap, which I have here, and I've already put some liquid soap in a pot. There we go. Okay. We have some food colouring. And we have some little Q-tips or cotton tips here. And that's basically what we need. Oh, and we need the milk, of course. So here's the milk. There we go. Probably thinking, what's she going to do with milk? So this is a really special activity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour some milk into here. Just enough. There we go. You don't need too much. It's good if it's full fat milk as well. That works better as the experiment. So there we go. There's our milk in there. Okay. And next what we're going to do, well, I'll do this in a minute. I'll explain what I'm going to do now. Now, do you remember when we washed our glittery hands that the water on its own didn't really remove the germs, did it? Didn't remove that glitter very well from our hands. So what we needed was soap. And what the soap was doing was it was catching all the germs and it was taking all of that away. Now, when we wash up and wash things like dirty dishes, we also have liquid soap. And that liquid soap is doing something very similar to the soap that we use to wash our hands. And what it's doing is it's running around and it's catching all those naughty germs and all that grease and that dirt off our pots and pans, and it's washing it away down the sink. Now, I'm going to, hopefully this will work, fingers crossed. I'm going to show you some magic milk and show you how the soap runs around and catches all the germs and all the dirt and the grease. So fingers crossed this is going to work. So let's see what we can do. So let's have a look. I've got some pink or red food colouring here. And I just get a little bit. We only need a little bit. We don't need very much. So I'm just going to drop a couple of bits into here. Let's make sure we just literally one little drop, little drop, little drop. There we go. Okay. Make sure we put the lid back on that one. Okay, and we're going to have. Should we have a little bit of blue? Should we have a little bit of blue? Okay. Tiny little bit of blue food colouring in here. So say you only need a tiny little bit of food colouring. Teeny weeny little drops, and I'll show you little drops in a minute what I've done. I'm just going to move it around the milk. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. Let's just tip this down a little bit. There, right, okay, there we go. Can you see that? Yeah, so we've got a little bit of food colouring there. Now then, I've moved it around a little bit, but hopefully it'll be okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get a cotton bud, a little Q-tip like this, and we're going to put some soap on here. Now, fingers crossed this is going to work. Let's see what happens. Can you see that? Oh, look at this moving around. Can you see it catching? See if I can just tip it a little bit more. There we go. Every time I tap, can you see that? Look at that magic milk. Every time I tap it with this soap, it runs away. So it's trying to catch all those germs and all that grease. I'm just going to get another little cotton bud here. Put a little bit of soap on here. Let's actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. Put a little bit more. Let's put a different colour in. Let's put a little bit of green in here. Let's see what this one does. Let's put a little drop of green. Do it that way so you can see it better. Here's some tiny little drops. There we go. Put a little bit of green in there. Let's see what this does. Hopefully. Look at that. I'll move it around every time. Let's have a look. There it goes. We need a little bit more soap on here. It makes it very magical. There it goes. It's moving away all the time. Let's put a little bit more red on. There we go. Put some more red on there. Oh, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Goodness me. Okay, there we go. Let's have a look. There we go. So it stops working after a little while, but hopefully you can see how well that magic worked. All right, and then you end up with really quite a pretty pattern in there, and a lot of that has actually gone away in terms of the germs. Okay, so that soap, when it first started, it was just catching all the dirt and grime. Now that can work very well at home. That's quite a fun experiment, particularly for some of the older children that are here as well. And that's lots and lots of fun. I'm just going to wipe my little bit away there. There we go. Okay, so let's bring this back up. There we go. Right. So what I'd like to do is just go through the handouts and tell you what handouts we actually have. There we go. Have available for you. So what I've put together today is a hand washing games and activity sheet. I've put together some information about prompts and visual reminders. I've put a list of hand washing songs, so hopefully there's some in there that you and your child and your children will enjoy. I've got a sticker rewards chart that you can use, and also there's the hand washing poster, which is a really good idea to put up all around the house to remind your child about when to wash their hands. So let's have a look. Ah, yes. Okay. So I wondered whether we could just have one more little practice to finish to wash our hands together. Can you remember the tune that we sang this to, which was Row, Row, Row Your Boat? So if you can get your hands ready, we can practice and imagine that we're washing our hands together. So this song is about 20 seconds as well. And let's see if you can remember it and see if we can pretend washing our hands together. So are you ready? Get your hands together. Here we go. Wash, wash, wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Scrub them here and scrub them there and scrub them in between. Wash, wash, wash our hands, play our handy game. Rub and scrub and scrub and rub, germs go down the drain. Well done. Well done, everyone. Fantastic. You've done really, really well. So we're now moving on to see whether we have any questions. So shukran, thank you for joining in today. And as I say, it's now time for questions. So we've got about 20 minutes or so time for me to answer any questions that you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can from those entered in the chat facility. And I can see there's some questions that have come in, and I've been sent some as well, which is great. But you can also use the raised hand button, so you can ask me a question live right now. Now, if you're chosen, all you have to do is just unmute your microphone so I can hear you, and then we can have a chat live. If I don't have time to answer all your questions, don't worry, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the questions at the end, and then the answers will be up there. I'll answer every question, and the answers will be up on the website. So fingers crossed, I will be able to see. Yeah, we've got some questions here. So okay, right, let's have a look. So have we got any questions live at the moment for me? Has anyone got their hand raised and got any questions based on what I've just covered at the moment? Oh, yeah, we've got one question. Right, okay. How best can I encourage a child with autism to wash their hands? Okay, so if you'd like, the person who's asked, Tendai, who's asked that, if you want to, I'm going to answer that. Are you live with me, Tendai? Can you unmute so we can have a chat? Yes, there you are. Okay, do you want to speak, or are you happy to, do you want to sort of type your answers in? But you're welcome to speak to me live if you want to unmute your microphone.
Hi, good morning, Miss Lorraine. How are you?
Good morning, I'm very well. Thank you very much for the question. I'm just going to turn the volume, turn the volume. I'm very, very well. Thank you very much for your question. Before I answer it, autism is a huge spectrum. The autistic spectrum disorder is a massive spectrum. So it would be really helpful for me to understand you know, what the issues are, where your child is on that spectrum, because obviously, you know, at a very severe level of autism, children are non-verbal, and you know, have difficulty expressing emotions and just generally talking. And then we have the other sort of extreme, which is sort of the very, very high functioning autism, sort of Asperger's, that kind. So it'd be really helpful for me to help you if I understood where your child sort of is on that spectrum.
Yes, thank you so much. You are yeah, so helpful and supporting us how to help our students with autistic spectrum disorder. And we need to know if my boy has like 15 years and has spectrum disorder. Uh, how to treat with them and learn them how to wash his hands
Right.
on a routine morning or what time?
Right. So the key with this particularly, and particularly with autism, is about routine, and that's really important. So you can put, you know, the visual prompts. So you know the poster that you'll have available to download, and that helps by giving visual prompts about when to actually wash your hands. And the key to this is routine, routine, routine. And it can feel a bit, you feel like you're doing something sort of over and over again, but actually that is how children, particularly on the autistic spectrum, respond much more positively to it. And really it's about a balance, particularly if your child's a little bit older as well, helping them take responsibility for washing their hands. And it's trying to sort of move towards that rather than feeling like you're in a constant sort of battle of sort of, come on, you've got to wash your hands, you've got to wash your hands. So definitely I would say use the visual prompts that are there. So you can mix up with three. So visual prompts, verbal prompts and physical prompts. Okay, so those are the three things to remember. So the visual prompts, you can use whatever visual prompts you want. You can download the ones that I've got in the handout, but anything there that helps to remind your child that this is the routine. If you've been outside and you come back in, you wash your hands. If you're about to have tea or lunch, you wash your hands. If you've used the bathroom, you wash your hands. And you might feel a bit like a sort of broken record almost, where you just feel like you're constantly saying that. But that routine is what will stick, basically. So definitely stick to the routine of it as much as you can. Now that isn't always easy, especially if you're out and about, and I do understand that, but it's, again, if you just focus on those three touch points, which is sort of before you eat, after using the bathroom, and when you come back inside to play, even focus on one of them to begin with and say, right, we're going to crack the first one, which is when you come inside from play. So if you've been playing outside, that's the one we're going to focus on this week. So with autism particularly, it's not just about routine, it's also about small steps. Okay, so don't try and do everything all at once and expect them to, you know, be able to take it all on, excuse me, all at once. Break it down into little steps and decide with them and say, you know, get them involved and say, which one should we learn today or this week? Shall we look at, do you want to look at when you've used the bathroom, before we eat, or when you come in from play? And they might say, oh, when I come in from play. So great, that's all we're going to focus on for this week. And you know, it might take 2 weeks for you to get to that point where they're happy and confident and actually you taking their own responsibility because they've learnt over routine to actually, when they come in, they wash their hands from when they've been in outside. So I would say small steps. Make sure you use the visual prompts, sorry, and also, you know, role model it yourself as well. Say, oh right, come on, we've just come inside, I'm going to go and wash my hands now. And you know, if you've got older children, younger children, and they're keen to wash their hands as well, get them to get your child involved with that as well. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I try to use with him a lot of tips, like you said for me, like
Yep,
visual. I put like visual poster, how
yep,
to wash our hands every day, like
yep,
routine morning,
yep,
after and before eating something, and also after using toilet,
yep.
and yes, after playing, we
Great.
can use it. And also I like sing a song, wash your hand, like we learn with you today.
Yes,
Wash your hand, wash your hand.
yes.
This song I try to sing with him,
Yep,
to encourage and to engage with him. I try also to engage my son, another one normal. I
okay.
try to engage him and learn him engaging يعني. I
Yeah,
try to learn him again and again. You must wash your hand. It
yeah.
was not have any grams in your hand like this one. That is okay?
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing everything right, Tende. Honestly, it's just being patient. You know, top tip number one was be patient, because children have to learn these things. Autistic children, it takes longer. It's about routine and repetition as well. So be patient. It sounds like you're doing everything absolutely right. You've got your visual prompts up. You've got posters. You don't need to nag. You know, you don't need to feel like that. Just role model is the best thing to do. And if they do have anything like a dolly or anything like that as well, that's a really good tool as well to help them and say, oh, what do you think Dolly needs to do? They've been outside. What do they need to do now? And that will help you see how they're progressing in terms of what they're learning. But honestly, Tenda, it sounds like you're doing everything absolutely right. And the key is to, you know, be patient. If you find that they are, you know, particularly your child with autism is still really struggling, I would say have a chat with them and see, because there may be something that isn't quite right for them. And we, you know, us as mums and parents, we're not mind readers. You know, we don't always know, and sometimes it's difficult for our children to express what's wrong, what's not quite right. Is it you know, is it the soap that we're using? Is there something about the texture of that soap, or the color even of the soap, that they don't like? Is there, do you see what I mean? And if you feel like you're not making the progress that you hoped you would, excuse me, then it may be worth looking and saying, do you like the soap? And if they something about that soap, for example, that's hesitating, it's stopping them, they're not sure about that, it may be worth, you know, next time you go to the shops, take them with you, go and have a look, have one trip to the shops just to go and have a look at the soap and see what catches their eye, and you even maybe let them choose the soap just for them, and it gives them a bit more ownership over washing their hands. Okay, so rather than it becoming this chore, because you don't want it to be a chore, you want it to be fun and something that, you know, like it is for us as adults, it just becomes a natural thing for them to do. You don't even have to prompt them, you know, just go in, come out from play, go in, wash their hands, it's tea time, wash your hands, and done. Now that's an ideal scenario, and we're aiming to get to that, but as I say, it can take time. But if you're still struggling, you know, in a few weeks, I would say maybe have a look at how comfortable they are physically in terms of reaching the soap, in terms of where the sink is, in terms of where the towel is, and also then in terms of the actual soap that they're using, because it could be something, if they really are really struggling with it, it could be something as simple as the texture of the soap. So this soap is great because it's clear. You know, there's you know, and it's very simple with the little thing. Not everyone, you know, some autistic children find bars of soap quite difficult. I think these days a lot of people have the liquid soap, but not everyone. So just have a look at little things like that as well, and just see what, you know, see how that goes. Is that helpful?
Yeah, so helpful. Thank you so much for supporting us, Miss Lorraine.
Oh,
We're
you are
so
very,
happy to
very
see you
welcome.
today, and we learn a lot. You
Yeah.
learn a lot for us how to treat with. But Miss Lorraine, I wanted to ask you if my child not non-verbal. I can use with them a lot of strategy like photo and visual.
Yeah, absolutely, and physical prompts as well. So
Yeah, but not have eye contact. Not have eye contact.
I understand. Yeah, yeah. And I think, you know, that when you, the difficulty is, it's good to try, obviously, to encourage eye contact. And I do completely understand that's not always easy to do. And I think rather than focusing on that, they will hear you. They are hearing you, even if they're not making the eye contact. They, you know, there's nothing wrong with their ears, generally speaking. So they will be able to hear you, and they will be processing what you're saying, even if they're not making direct eye contact. In most cases, so I think with non-verbal, you really do need to. I would still keep talking. By the way, I wouldn't. You know, don't not use the verbal prompts. So use all of the prompts that you have that we've covered today. Use the verbal prompts, keep talking to them. That's, you know, that's absolutely fine. I strongly recommend you continue doing that, but also use the visual prompts, as you say, photographs, pictures, the step by steps. And there's some really good, so on one of the handouts that you've got, there's a specific link to a visual poster for children with autism. And it's really, really good. So that would be a great one for you to download and use. So you can use the visual prompts as well. And then, as I say, the physical prompts. You know, the best thing with that is usually sort of stand behind them. It depends how, you know, how grown up they are, whatever, but either to the side or behind them, and just gently guide their hands as you're speaking and saying, oh, look, right, so soap next. Should we go for the soap? And you just gently guide. So that's what we mean by physical prompts. You don't need to be rough at all, just really gently, just guiding their hands to where their hands need to go next, whether that's soap, whether that's rinsing under the water. Now, bearing in mind, if you're doing verbal prompts, physical prompts, and visual prompts, that's quite a lot going on. So you might want to just take one of those at a time initially. And if you're introducing songs, so you've got the song that we've done today, which is so easy, but also, you know, you've got the Baby Shark song, you've got other songs as well. I've put another 2 or 3 songs on the handouts, which are also brilliant to do. So that's quite a lot to for a child to process if they're going to be learning a song and doing that as well. So just think about, you know, where you put your focus, and you'll learn that for your child. So it might be your child responds better just to the visual prompts at this stage. So it may be that you sing the song, and then you point to the visual prompts as you go along, and just keep it as simple as that. And then gradually you can start to introduce, you can start to do the physical prompts if you find that that's not moving along. So you've got a good strategy there to sort of move it along as you go, but start just with something little. Maybe have the visual prompts up, and then you know, you can sing the song, and they'll start singing along, I'm sure, as well, because they're very easy, very simple little songs to sing, and that's probably enough to begin with, and just see how it goes, and just introduce the other prompts as you go along. Okay, is that okay? I think that's okay, hopefully. Right. Thank you, Tendai, for that question. I'm going to click that as done, but please feel free to come back to me. Has anyone got any more questions to me that you'd like to ask live? Okay, I do have a couple of other questions here as well that I've got come in. So feel free to just pop up on chat, raise your hand if you've got a question in the question and answer, and I will speak to you. Otherwise, I will answer a couple of questions that I have here as well. So one of the questions which links into what I was just talking about with Tenda there was, what if my child doesn't like soap? So, you know, that can be obviously an issue. That could be the thing that's actually stopping them wanting to wash their hands. They perhaps don't like the stickiness of it, the texture of it, or even the colour of it. And it depends whether you're using, as I said to Tendo, the bar soap or liquid soap. I think a lot of people tend to use liquid soap these days, but not everyone. Now, the important thing about this is remind them, especially if they've been watching this or you've been doing the activity at home with the glitter germs or even with the magic milk, how magical soap is. So water alone won't get all that glitter off. We saw that right at the very beginning, but soap is a really magical thing. And soap is what we need to obviously get the germs off. And as I said to Tendo, one of the things you could do is try and find out what is it about that soap that they don't like. Okay, so maybe get a couple of other options lined up for them and say, well, what about this one? What about this one? And see, try and find out from them, what is it? Do they not like that stickiness sometimes you can get? Well, that stickiness will go if you put that in the water. And maybe it's just about helping them get that process right and those steps of doing that, but then straight in the water to help them get all that sticky soap off. So try and find out what is it about the soap that they don't like. And really, as I said to Tendo as well, if you can, take them on a shopping trip with you. Get them to look at all the amazing soaps and see if they can perhaps choose a soap for them that they'd like to use. It gives them ownership of the process of hand washing, and you know, it could absolutely turn it around. Okay. Right, I have another question in from Ivana. Ivana, let me answer live and see. Ivana, are you there? Do you want to unmute your microphone? I've got a question from you. If you'd like to speak to me, Ivana, you're welcome to unmute your microphone and I will speak to you directly. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. So the question from Ivana, apologies if I haven't got that right, is can we use these kinds of techniques in potty training and brushing teeth? I'm assuming that means brushing teeth also. Absolutely, yes you can, and thank you very much for asking the question. Most definitely, all these things, visual prompts, physical prompts and verbal prompts, all of those are very, very useful for anything which a child has to learn. So things like potty training and brushing their teeth. So all those top tips that I gave you around things like being patient, using all the prompts that you've got and making it fun, absolutely, they all work and they're all really helpful when you've got to do things like potty training. Now, potty training is a little bit different in that one of the things you're trying to help your child learn is to listen to their body. So instead of sort of trying to see germs and understanding that, you know, we have germs, you know, when we've been outside or we've got to wash our hands before we go to the toilet, one of the things you're trying to help your child learn is to what they feel in their body in terms of wanting to have a wee, for example. Now, that can be difficult, obviously, with children with special needs. They won't always have that connection in terms of being able to feel what is happening in their body for some children. So routine again is really important. So what I was saying to Tenda earlier in terms of routine is also really important. So just getting him into that routine of using the bathroom before or after you've had a meal, before you go out on a trip, and also when you come in from playing outside. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for answering the question, Ivana. That's really good. And the same with brushing teeth as well. You can have lots of fun brushing teeth. Again, you might want to try the technique with obviously you're using toothpaste. If it becomes a bit of a background in a problem area, have a look. It could be something to do with the toothpaste. And I know things you thought, you know, I might end up getting through 3 or 4 different toothpastes, but it's probably worth it to try and find it and work out what is it about the toothpaste that your child perhaps is having a problem with. It could be one of those which got a stripe through and they don't like the stripe, or maybe they do like the stripe. You've got to just work with your child on that one. So yeah, all those techniques absolutely can be used. So thank you, Ivana, for asking that question. Just having a look at the time, we're just at 9 o'clock. I've got one more question that's come in, so if it's okay with everyone who's hosting it, I'm going to just answer this question, and this is from Lucy. Lucy, you're very welcome to unmute your microphone if you'd like to speak to me. Otherwise, I will go ahead and answer your question. So, good question. How do I encourage a child that doesn't like washing their hands, sorry. Right, so all the things today that we've covered hopefully are going to help with this. The key with this is, what is it that they don't like? It's not usually the whole thing. There's usually something in there. If they're saying, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't want to do it, we've got to try and get to the nerve of what it is that they don't like, and there's usually something there. Is it something, as I say, I keep going on about it, but the soap? Could it be in terms of they're not very comfortable, are they having to stretch to get up to there, up to the sink? Do they need a step stool? Are things not, you know, convenient in terms of, for them, in terms of, remember, little people, bigger stretches? What is it that they don't like about that? If it's simply, if you've ruled all that out and they just said don't want to do it, and you know, we know what children are like, put the foot down and they don't want to do it, then really what we've got to do, the glitter germs activity is a fantastic way of doing it, because children will look at the hands and say, but my hands are clean, I don't need to wash my hands, I don't like washing my hands, I don't need to wash my hands. So the glitter germs activity is fantastic for this, because obviously we explained to them that it is a pretend activity, but it is marvellous for helping them see that, you know, how germs spread, and hopefully they will have seen from this activity as well how much it spread on me, but also how water will help and get some of the glitter off and some of the germs off, but also soap with water is the best thing, because as they would have seen from what I showed, it completely gone, every single bit of glitter completely gone. So the glitter germ activity is particularly, I would definitely recommend that as well, because you know, it is difficult for children. You can't see germs, you can't hear germs, so it's hard for them to make the connection as to why they should then wash their hands. So Lucy, sorry I didn't speak to you in person, but oh, okay, you couldn't unmute, okay. Oh right, I couldn't unmute. Have a boy who doesn't like washing his hands. We normally sing as we wash, but he doesn't like washing his hands. Okay, so again, it's a little bit of trial and error with this, in terms of what to say. As I say, try and find out what part of washing their hands, what is it? It could be the soap, it could be, you know, where they're standing, the position, and so on, and get them to have a look. Get them to have a look. If they like playing online games, also get them to have a look at Germ Zapper as well. As I say, it's a free app and it's absolutely brilliant. And I know children who've played that and they've immediately gone to want to wash their hands because they want to zap all the germs and get all the germs off. So if you combine something like the Germ Zapper, which is a really great online game, with something like the glitter as well, and if they don't like glitter on the thing, you can use, I've lost my little hand now where it's gone, you can use the little hand as well, okay. If they don't like the glitter, by the way, that could be a little warning for you as well, because it could be that they're going to struggle with the soap actually on their hands as well. So getting them to make sure their hands are wet before they sort of put the soap on, and then putting it straight back in the water again, you know, that's going to help. So I hope that That helps. We're going to have to end the session now, but I can see other questions are coming in. Rosalind, thank you for your question. I can see that's come in as well. What I'm going to do is I am going to leave that one open from you, Rosalind, and any other questions that come in, and I'm going to sit and answer those in a moment for you, and then all the answers will be put up onto the website for you. So I'm just going to finish off with sharing my screen once again, just to say, here we go. Hopefully that will work. There we go. Okay, so just to say thank you, because I'm really sorry we've run out of time and I can see lots of questions coming in, but I promise I will answer those for you. I'm delighted to say next week I'm going to be running a session same time next week on, just going to check my diary, Tuesday the 25th of August. I'm going to be running another webinar all about active words and numbers, and this is all about helping your child develop their numerical and literacy skills through active play at home. I've got some really great activity ideas for you to do, really simple but really great ideas to do. So please register for that, especially if you've enjoyed this session, and join me at 11 o'clock your time next week if you can. So I hope to see you again soon. Ma salama, thank you and goodbye.